3, 2.
Hello, thank you for joining me and my colleagues here today. My name is Ademola Samuel with the student ID. With the student ID 23016843. And I'm here to introduce our research on empowerment on empowering girls in Nigerian secondary education. Functional barriers that hold back a large segment of population, and more importantly, to propose clear, actionable solutions to lift this constraint. I'll be moving to our introduction. Nigeria's secondary education system faces critical issues. While there has been primary education, secondary schools are still burdened by overcrowded classrooms, underfunded facilities, and teacher shortages, added to the deep-rooted cultural norms that limit girls' access, such as the early marriage and traditional gender roles. And we see a complex interwoven challenge. These factors not only prevent many girls from receiving the quality education they deserve, but also hold back the country's potential for growth. By tackling these multifaceted issues head-on with evidence-based and inclusive strategies, we aim to create a sustainable path that enhances educational outcomes and empowers girls to become active contributors to the society. In essence, bridging this educational gap is not merely a matter of policy, it's about unlocking the untapped potential of millions and transforming the future. I'll be moving to the next slide, which is our objectives. Our project has 4 central objectives. Firstly, we aim to clearly identify the key barriers in Nigerian secondary education for girls. This includes significant knowledge gaps, financial hurdles, and cultural limitations that restrict girls' education opportunities. Secondly, we analyze how these challenges interact, understanding that a poor education system has ripple effect on economic development and social inclusion. Thirdly, by evaluating this broader impact, we connect the dots between education, economic growth, and societal advancement. And finally, number 4, our work is committed to recommending sustainable strategies for policymakers, educators, and community leaders, actions that are both effective and culturally sensitive. I'll be moving to slide 4, which is our methodology. In our journey to uncover and address these challenges facing Nigerian secondary education for young women, it is critical to understand the foundation of our research. Today, I'll walk you through the research methodology that provided us with a comprehensive and reliable insight into these challenges. Number 1, quantitative review. We began by diving deep into existing academic literature. This includes analyzing academic journals, government reports, and publications from influential organizations like the World Bank or UNESCO. Number 2, policy analysis. We examined the policy landscape. This involved a detailed assessment of recent reforms and funding mechanisms implemented by the Nigerian Ministry of Education and other bodies. Number 3, case study research. To bring the numbers and policies to life, we conducted case study research in regions that face most acute challenges, focusing on areas with notably high dropout rates and cultural restrictions that allowed us to explore local dynamics in detail. Number 4, data collection. We gathered quantitative data through official educational statistics and international benchmark. In looking at enrollment figures, dropout rates, and teacher to student ratios, we were able to quantify the extent of the challenges. This data-driven approach enables us to move beyond anecdotal evidence and support our findings with solid statistical strengths. Thank you very much. I'll be handing over to my colleague to give us finding on challenges and country case study. Thank you. Shay, please.
Thank you, Demola. I'm Shei, and I'll be handling the challenges that women face, Nigeria as a case study, and the implications. For our challenges, the data we've collected are several critical trends. Now we start with infrastructure deficits. UNESCO Global Educational Monitoring Report regularly documents challenges in school infrastructure in low-income countries, including Nigeria. Recent surveys and reports highlight how insufficient classroom and poor facility hinder the quality of education. Teacher shortages and training. Studies conducted by World Bank and government reports from Nigeria Ministry of Education shows that the teacher shortages and suboptimal training environments are persistent issues in Nigerian secondary school. Peer-reviewed journals also have confirmed these factors that correlate lower student performance. Financial barriers. Data from UNICEF and World Bank reports that the direct cost of education are a major factors in dropout rates. Empirical studies have documented the economic strain on families in Nigeria, particularly affecting the continuation in education, affecting girls' continuation in education. Cultural constraint. Reports from reputable news agencies such as AP News and Reuters, alongside academic research, constantly highlight the cultural practice, including early marriage and transgender roles, as significant barriers for girls in Nigeria. These findings are reinforced by cultural studies in the region, which examine the impact of the traditional norms in the education. Now, I'll talk about Nigeria as a case study. In this slide, we'll dive into the core challenges impacting Nigeria secondary school education. Today, I will highlight three primary challenges we must face head on if we are to empower and uplift the next generation. Reforms implemented. Nigeria has put in place to improve its education system with the Universal Basic Education UBE reforms and the Universal Basic Education Commission UBEC reforms. Together, these reforms have contributed in increasing the enrollment in primary schools, therefore reducing financial and structural barriers that preferably discourage or prevented children from attending school, especially girls. Dropout rates, although Nigeria states like Taraba, Sokoto have achieved successful results in the primary sector of education, the number in the secondary sector has drastically declined. In many regions, dropouts for girls are alarming high. These figures are clearly indicate that while girls will start the educational journey, many are forced to leave school. Economic and cultural challenges. High costs associated with institution, uniform, and learning material force many families to difficult choices. For many, the reality is that financial strength is so great that continuing girl education becomes luxury they cannot afford. Economic constraints often result in higher dropout rates, reducing the long-term prospect for these young women. Finally, for cultural norms, the deep-rooted cultural practices further restrict girls' access to education, like early marriage, which force them out of school at critical times in their education. Such constraints is not only traversed in the spiritual position, but can also implement the broader social and economic development of the community and the nation. Thank you. And now we'll go to the implications. So for the implication, the first key barrier is knowledge and training, which is a social impact. In many communities, the curriculum and the teaching method have not evolved to meet the modern educational demands. This difficulty means that both teachers and students are missing out on the skills needed for today's world. And secondly, we have financial constraints, which impact on the economy. This financial pressure forces tough decisions, leading many to withdraw girls from school well before they have the chance to fully benefit from the education system. And third barrier cultural limitation, which reduces long-term development. As you know, the traditional norms and practices such as early marriages, girls and long-standing bias against investing in girls' education continue to hold back the social cost. The social to hold back the progress. Social cost is immense when significant segment of the population is declined and quality of education of the entire community miss out on the potential contribution that empowered educated women can make. Now I hand over to my colleague who will discuss the solutions, strategies, and discussion and analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheyu. My name is Victor Osiobe Ogoneromo. Today, we face a crucial challenge. Nearly 50% of female population in part of Nigeria remain uneducated, and this issue touches every phases of life. These slides answer the most powerful question. How might you fix this? By laying out a specific target proposal to overcome knowledge deficits, financial constraints, and deep-rooted crucial barrier in secondary school education for young women. Our proposal is structured around three key domains: policy reform, educational initiative, and cultural strategy. In our policy reform, in a case the government funding, imagine the Nigerian government allocate an additional 5% of its educational budget exclusively for secondary school in under-resources region. This ensured classrooms are neither overcrowded nor under-resources. Also, enforcing and enhancing law against early marriage and child labor is essential to safeguard girls' right to sustaining education. While in our educational initiative, updating educational programs to include digital literacy, vocational training, and essential life skills will align educational with modern workforce needs. We empower girls with relevant practical tools. While for our cultural strategies, we launch community outreach program to shift traditional norms that undervalue girls' educational and lighten success stories and long-term benefit of educational. Girls can change mindset over time. I'll be going to slide 10, which talk about implementation and strategies. Our key implementation strategy designed to transform secondary school education for young women in Nigeria. First strategy is a rigorous focus on monitoring evaluation. Imagine setting up a system that continually tells you what's working and what is not in a real time. That's the essence of our approach. We propose establishment of strong key performance indicator or KPI. While in our second strategies, whereby the stakeholder involvement, change requirement, share commitment, and here everyone is invited to the table. This grassroots involvement build trust and ensure that every initiative is grounded in the community, unique culture, and social context. While in our third strategies, we talk about digital transformation. In today's world, technology is vital tools for bringing gaps. Digital platform can offer interactive learning, flexible schedule, and personalizing tutorial that traditional classroom might struggle to provide. This modern approach not only enrich the learning experience for girls, but also equip them with value digital literacy skills that are essential in modern force. Lastly, strategies involve forging robust public-private partnership. No single entity can shoulder this challenge alone. Company and international organization will create a network of supporting that pool resources, expertise, and innovative ideas. This partnership can lead to shared investment in better infrastructure, comprehensive teaching and development program. I'll be going to slide 11 to discuss to analyze it. On this slide, we discuss analyze of the challenges facing Nigeria secondary school education for young women. This session brings together our findings by showing how interconnected the issues are, not just as stand-alone problem, but as a component of a bigger systematic puzzle. Our analysis revealed that three major factors: knowledge deficit, financial barrier, and cultural constraint, reinforcement one another, overcrowded, and lack of modern facility. I'll be talking about the management perspective. This analysis challenges policymakers and community leaders to adopt a holistic approach. The complexity of this interdependent issue demand coordinated sustainability and intervention that address systematic flaws rather than isolated symptoms. I will now be handing over to my colleague who will present the SWOT analysis of our recommendation and solution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victor. My name is Awogboro Ayomide with the student ID 230-38872. I'll be speaking about the SWOT analysis of Nigerian secondary education for girls, discussing the strengths, government initiative and reforms. Nigeria have implemented educational reform, UBE reform, UBEC fund that has increased enrollment at the primary level, setting a foundation for future improvement. Emerging digital solutions. The growing adoption of digital learning tools offers a pathway to overcome traditional limitations in infrastructure and teacher shortages. Moving straight to the weakness, we're discussing about the infrastructure deflect. Overcrowded classroom and outdated facilities limit the quality of education available to students. Teacher, teacher shortage and inadequate training. Insufficient investment in teaching training leads to poor instructional quality, lower learning outcome. Are we moving on to the opportunities right now? Are we talking about the expansion of digital and vocational training? Investing in modern curricula include digital literacy and vocational skills could make education more relevant to the job, to the job market, and attract more girls to remain in school. Policy enforcement, strengthening and enforcing existing laws and policies regarding child labor and early marriage can protect girls, not can protect girls' rights to education. Discussing our threats, I'll be talking about the area of economic instability. High poverty rate means that even with available reforms, many families cannot afford the indirect cost of secondary education, leading to high dropout rate. I'll also talk about the political and social disruption. In regions affected by conflict or political instability, educational program can be disrupted. Safely consigns may further hinder girls to accept school. Now moving on to recommendation. On this slide, we set the stage for our entire presentation titled Bridging the Gap, Empowering Women in Nigerian Education, Secondary Education. This slide reminds us that in many regions, nearly half of the female population had not the opportunity to attend school. It emphasized the gap in knowledge, outdated training practice, financial hardship, and entrenched cultural norms. All contributes to the profound challenge. Essentially, it asks us a vital question: how might you fix this? Recommendation is our call to action. It encapsulates the urgency and the opportunity inherent in addressing Nigerian education challenges for girls. By clearly mapping out the issues and framing the disruption around concrete actionable proposal. This slide invites all stakeholders, from policymakers, educators to community leaders, to join us in transforming this obstacle into pathway for enrollment. And lastly, I'll be discussing our conclusion. The conclusion outlined the content and challenges we're up against. It emphasized three key barriers, which is knowledge issue, financial constraints, and cultural limitation. This slide isn't just about diagnosing the problem, it also serves as a blueprint for our approach. It invites us to craft proposals with specific actions designed to address these barriers. In essence, it challenges us to take the interweaved issues and transform them into opportunities for change. Together, so this slide challenge all stakeholders, policymakers, educators, community leaders to join us in transforming this barrier into pathway for employment. Together, we can unlock the untapped potential of millions of young women and drive lasting social or economic progress. Thank you so much.